Welcome to the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. What's up, everybody? Welcome once again to the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show on the heels of an agonizing, very sucky, and other adjectives that you want to add to this. Loss to LSU, 34-10 was the final.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse, MC. And, of course, we're coming to you live from the NEA Hog Pen tonight for the very first time ever. If you guys missed it, we did our very first Hogcast over on our YouTube page. For the first time in the history of the show, MC and I in the same place at the same time doing a show. And it was very colorful, to say the least. And
outside of the game, it was fun.
Outside of the game, it was awesome. The game just kind of sucked.
Yeah, kind of put a damper on everything.
And not the showing that you thought we'd see. I don't think anybody would see. And it never tracked. It never got on track. And LSU did what we did to Tennessee. They did to us this week. And you and I were talking right before show that this is basically like that scene from Remember the Titans when Coach Boone had the math teacher break down the film. And I promise you that's what LSU did to that Tennessee film. Yeah,
they studied it pretty well and saw what we liked to do and what we didn't like to do. And, you know, I was thinking about this right before we went live. What came to my mind to basically sum up the game tonight is sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. And
I think it's safe to say we were the bug.
Unfortunately, tonight we were a horsefly that got hit by a windshield going about 80 miles an hour. Just turned into a butt kicking before it was all over with.
But again, this is why they're the number 8 team in the country.
Yeah.
And look, contrary to popular belief, the season's not over yet.
No.
Nobody say a word, Dylan. It's not over yet. Did the win 2 weeks ago kind of change the expectations, MC?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have expectations and the opportunity to win this game tonight? Yes. But now we see exactly what LSU is and where our deficiencies are. Because you and I both pointed out, Nussmeier didn't throw the deep ball.
No.
He killed us from like the mid-range.
Yeah.
Those 8 to 10 yard passes.
Yeah, just a little dinks, you know, just death by 1,000 cuts. You know, I mean, basically, we were so concerned with keeping them in front of us and not allowing the deep ball that we actually, you know, hurt ourselves more than we prospered because, I mean, pass after pass after pass. How many times did we get them in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7?
But again, here's the other kicker to that. How many false starts did we get
that
the crowd help us get? But we never could capitalize on it.
I mean, you'd back them up. You'd go from 3rd and 1 to about 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, something like that. And then they would get just enough. If they needed 7, they'd get 7.5. So it's just, you know, and then the turnovers. You know, you had the bad fumble by Dominion. Greens.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you miss practice.
When you miss practice, yeah, your ball security suffers. And Green's interception, I think that was more of just a really good play by the defense than a bad
place
decision.
at the right time.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and I feel like he got really lucky on that play, and he made a heck of a play. And that kid's a heck of a linebacker. I mean, he's Harold Perkins' backup, and Perkins is out for the year with an ACL. Well, when you go to your backup and your backup is just as good as the guy you're replacing, I mean, he's gonna make plays like that.
Even I made the observation that was probably Harold Perkins in Weeks uniform.
I mean, he played like it.
He played like it.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, though, MC, things like this happen. And I'd love to sit here and say, you know, it just wasn't our night.
Yeah, I mean, it ran into a better team. LSU's deeper. They're a better team. I mean, like you said, there's a reason that they're number 8 in the country.
Yeah.
So,
But at the same time, I mean, when you look at it, it's one of those things where they came out, the first thing they did was punch us in the mouth.
yeah.
And that's what really rocked us.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about it. You know, LSU did to Arkansas this week what Arkansas did to Tennessee 2 weeks ago on that opening drive. You just play after play after play. The difference was we came away in the opening drive in the Tennessee game with 3. They came away with 7. And it's just, you know, there's some key plays you can point to. The dropped touchdown in the end zone in the first half ended up being huge early on because, again, it changes momentum. You know, you don't really know what happens after that. The bad calls, I mean, the reverse of the targeting call, I still don't understand.
That was targeting through and through.
I mean, to me, based on the definition that they put on the screen during the game, it's textbook targeting.
Now, like I said, we can be critics of the game all night, but I do want to point out one shining, not to fast forward to March and have that one shining moment, but Taylon Green showed a little bit of improvement where he wasn't honing in on one wide receiver. He was actually throwing the ball around.
Yeah. I thought overall, I thought Taylon played pretty good tonight. Compared, I pointed this out in our watch along, the hog watch that we did. One of the biggest complaints that the Beard and I have about Taylon Green up to this point was locking in on one receiver and not going through your progressions and getting rid of the ball. I felt like tonight he was much better on reading through his progressions and spreading the ball around. Armstrong had a handful of catches, but you also had we got to bring up Broden. The way Broden has been catching.
Boy, y'all been dogging you and Beard have been dogging Broden, but
I will give the man credit,
rightfully so.
Yeah,
but he got the lights knocked out of him.
He did, and that's the one that should have been the targeting call.
Yeah.
But up until that point, he had not had a drop all night. He had 3 or 4 catches. Luke Haas had 3 or 4 catches. Satania had 3 maybe.
And he had one. He had a fumble.
He had a fumble late in the game, but it was. I mean,
at that point,
over with by
I was gonna say at that point the game was really well in hand for LSU. And you really couldn't do anything about that. But in the grand scheme of things, you got smacked in the mouth tonight.
Yeah.
You did. You got smacked in the mouth. 6 wins is still not off the table.
No, it's still firmly there.
Hell, I'll even go a little bit further and say 8 wins aren't even off the table yet.
It's not. It's not off the table. After watching Missouri earlier today, I think they're very beatable. And now I'm not sure that the Missouri game may not become a little more winnable than Mississippi State because Mississippi State has put up 2 really good performances in back-to-back weeks against
2 of the best.
2 of the best teams in the conference.
Those losses only by 10 points.
Yeah, I mean you lose to Georgia by 10, you lose to A&M by 10. That game's not going to be as easy as we first thought going down to Starkville. Plus the fact we brought this up in pregame, we never play well in Starkville anyway.
And we haven't in a very long time.
Yeah.
By the way, if you see us kind of look off screen, we've got the end of the Georgia-Texas game going here. Georgia currently 7:49 to go in the game, and Georgia has a 15-point lead. It's 30-15 over number 1 Texas. And
Texas
this game,
on the move, though.
This game has major implications.
Oh yeah.
But that game next week with LSU and A&M.
Yeah.
That if this game holds on and Georgia upsets number 1, you could potentially be looking at the battle for the number 1 in the SEC next week.
Yeah, you have 2 undefeated teams going in next week. If this game holds and Texas loses tonight, that will leave 2 undefeated teams in Texas A&M and LSU.
Yeah. The Beard's off tonight, so we've got D-Mad running boards. D-Mad, go ahead and throw some of these comments up, and let's see who we got talking to us tonight. If you're just joining us, we want to welcome you guys into the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. We are coming to you live from the NEA Hog Pen, courtesy of MC. First time in the history of the show, you and I under the same roof in the same place, the same time.
After that performance, man, I don't know if we need to do it again or not.
I'm probably going to stay down in the Central Arkansas Hog Pen next time. But Casey Sutton says, let's see if I can pull this up here.
Are we ever going to pull it?
Are we ever going to pull it together? Casey, that's a loaded question.
I mean, that's...
And I would love to sit here and say yes. But quite honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Wait. Let me find some coaches speak. Wait a minute.
There you go. There's
you
your
find
coach
some
speak.
coaches
Yeah.
speak. Well, you know, and this is the thing. Sam Pittman, he didn't look like the Sam Pittman again from 2 weeks ago or the week before that. He looked like the Sam Pittman from last year.
Well, he was clearly frustrated in the post game tonight, and you know, I pointed out to Zach. We were listening to the post game press conference before we went live, and I told him, I was like, you know what, he's frustrated. He's trying to keep it PG. He can't really say what he wants to say. I feel like he wants to put it very bluntly and frankly about how he felt about the night, and he just, you know, you can't do that.
Well, I mean, you can't come out and say, we freaking suck.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
could,
could, but you know, it's not advised.
He's not Hugh Freeze. Let's put it like that.
He's trying, like Zach pointed out, he's trying very hard to find his words to where he doesn't say, "I don't know what happened," or "That's not what we worked on in practice all week," which is what he got crucified for saying time and time again last year. So,
by the way, if you guys missed the Hogcast or the Hog Watch, whatever we're calling it,
yeah,
y'all missed how good we were eating. And y'all, dude.
We'll probably send some leftovers home with you.
Hey,
too.
I'm all right with that. You know that. You know I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much that we can go over. I mean, the penalties. I feel like, and you know, we were talking with the team.
Yeah.
The whole night. And
just something here real quick. My old eyes are betraying me a little bit. I got to make this a little bigger so we can see. There
we go. Sam Jones says the legend of Talon Turnover Green cemented itself tonight.
I can't put that one on him.
I'm not going to
put it on him.
I have to disagree, and I'm going to do it. First time I've ever done this for Sam. I got to disagree with him.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to put this squarely on Talon. I'm going to put this one on the refs because you and I talked about this, especially in the first half. This is typical SEC protecting the rankings of the higher-ranked teams.
Those two calls, man, were at a brutal point. Or the reverse of the targeting and the non-PI on Jordan Anthony. Those were two really big moments there that I felt like could have swept the momentum back to Arkansas because you never know what's going to happen after those two plays. Do they go score? At that point, I think it was still a 10-point game maybe. So, I mean, it's still within reach at that point. You can play the ultimate what if all day. The turnover on the 2-yard line was brutal.
But that
was a heck of a play.
It was. There was a couple of moments there, and, you know, Matt Hart and I, when we were at the Beer Fest, we were talking about the moment.
Yeah.
That you knew that the game was shifting away from our favor or shifting for our favor. There were several moments in this game that you just knew the game was slowly starting to slip away.
Yeah.
You know, the targeting, and 90% of them was on the officials.
You had the two big ones. The moment for me where I was like, ooh, we're gonna need a miracle after this was the interception there on the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
That's the one that's just really hard to overcome. I just, you know, again, LSU's a better team. You know, does this one bother me? Yeah, it bothers me.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, you know, we got the 24-hour rule.
Right, yeah.
You know, you can sulk on it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Come Monday morning, wipe it off, get ready for Mississippi State.
Yeah.
You know, you're going on the road. Your next few games are very winnable.
Yep, very.
Unless you have a performance like you had tonight.
Yeah. Brad Staten comes in and says, the real Hog showed up tonight. I knew I wasn't into the Kool-Aid that was being served. Yeah, the Kool-Aid got a little bitter tonight.
It was that, I'm telling you, man, it was that sugar-free crap.
We had the off week after the big win. Everybody starts drinking the Kool-Aid. I mean, even this morning, Pat McAfee and Saban and Scotty Scheffler, the guest picker on game day, all three of those guys picked Arkansas tonight. And, you know, it was just they were just better. I mean, I sound like a broken record. I keep going back to that, but they were just better. So, all right, D-Mad, throw us another one.
Hold on. D-Mad, I need you to do me a favor real quick. Hit the breaking news and the upset alert.
Uh-oh.
breaking news, an upset coming out of Arkadelphia. Ouachita Baptist has taken down number 1 Harding.
Wow.
17-13.
So that breaks the 23-24
Yes.
straight game winning streak.
Yes. Number 1 Harding beaten in Arkadelphia to Ouachita Baptist. For those of you watching here in Arkansas.
That's the biggest
huge.
news in state right
That's
there.
the biggest news in state, yes. But going back to this Arkansas game before we hit a break, we were playing the refs tonight, hands down. And you and I mentioned this several times. That right there was the incarnation of freaking Mark Curls.
I hit that pretty hard after. Oh, Texas just got a. Did that hit the ground or did they give him the interception?
No, that
must
was
have hit the
incomplete.
ground the way he's acting. I go back to the targeting being overturned against Tyrone Broden. Broden had his best game to this point. I can't call him skillet hands anymore after tonight because he had several catches. He had one catch. His best catch of the night was wiped out by a holding call.
Yeah, and had that gone our way,
Yeah,
that would have been that would have been Sports Center top 10.
Drug his toe on the sideline and made just a full extension. Used all 6'7" of him to make the catch, and it was just a absolutely phenomenal catch, and it gets wiped out by a holding penalty on Arkansas. So it's just kind of sums up the night, man. It's like one step forward, 2 steps back.
And essentially that was the whole game, you know.
Yeah.
We would on defense we'd get a false start for LSU, but we couldn't capitalize, and they'd turn around and convert it.
They'd turn around and convert
on
it.
offense. You would get a big gain. You would start driving. You'd start gaining momentum, and then you'd get a penalty, a holding call, or pass interference, or something.
We couldn't run the ball tonight.
They shut the run game down.
Yeah, they shut the run game down. We talked about that in the pregame,
and
how important it was.
And that kind of slapped me in the face because I'm the one that said their rush defense wasn't all that great.
And so now you got to wonder what's with Jaquindon Jackson because he went to the locker room and never came back.
Do we have an injury update on him?
I have not seen anything yet. I was kind of looking through Twitter here really quick, but I don't see
because that was a late in the
yet.
game kind of injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean he never did come back. You had Dominion and Russell the rest of the way.
But we are going to take a step away for a second, catch our breaths, kind of recollect ourselves. On the other side of the break, we'll continue our post-game analysis of LSU and Arkansas after this message from Allen Kerr Advisors.
Hi, I'm Allen Kerr, president and founder of Allen Kerr Advisors. As an advisor group, our goal is to ensure a positive reputation with government agencies and legislative bodies to provide timely and proactive solutions for all of our clients. We have successfully represented our clients with targeted campaigns that get results. Our focus is on the insurance industry, but we're experts in other areas of business as well. We're a full-service, nationwide advisor group with legislative and regulatory relationship networks in all 50 states.
Welcome back to the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. The ad got cut short a little bit.
Yeah,
that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But man, I tell you, it stung. Now, how many people, MC, are going to blame the drone show at halftime?
Well, I mean, that's the only thing I haven't heard blamed at this point. So we're seeing a lot of, I was looking through Twitter there while we were in the break, trying to find something on Jaquindon Jackson. Nothing there, but I've seen a lot of blame go a lot of different directions. But the only thing I haven't seen blamed is the drone show. Everybody seemed to be pretty happy with it. So.
Yeah. Well, and it was pretty sweet too, to be honest with you. We saw pictures of it and everything. But let's go back to the Camp Productions live fan feedback and see what the fans are talking about. Like I said, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show from the NEA Hog Pen.
Yeah.
And
our watch along, man, it was we had fun with that. The only bad piece of it was the way the game went.
Yeah. Apparently, we have a new producer, by the way. Jesse got replaced.
Yeah, Jesse got called out. Yeah,
Jesse got called out after he tried to fire me.
My youngest wasn't having it. He was up here trying to hog the camera all night, man.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that. He was having fun with it.
He was having
throw
fun.
some more of those comments up there, D-Man. Let's see what else we got, and let the fans have their voice tonight.
Yeah, everybody needs a gripe session after a game like that. I mean, just to kind of get things out of your system, and and just just let it out, just let it all out.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. So we're having a little technical difficulties, but I can read through some of these. Jesse. Yeah, Dylan, we can't see anything. We're stuck on the Brad Staten comment.
Yeah, we still got the Brad Staten comment.
Jesse put in 75,000.
There we go. Doug McDaniel says, Razorback Zach, had a few drinks and watched some awesome Razorback wins while sitting in that chair.
Yeah, Doug's a good buddy of mine, and the games he's talking about in particular were during the Elite Eight, Muss's first Elite Eight run. So, yeah, we sit here, Texas Tech game, and
oh, nice. Sorry I broke that streak.
ORU, some good ones, man. It was like he said, we've watched some good ones in this room.
Iowa State currently trailing UCF 35-30. Wow.
So I had the attendance and I lost it. 75,893, I think.
Fourth largest.
So the crowd did their part, man.
The crowd showed up regardless of that ginormous water main break in the middle of Razorback Road and MLK. And I was looking at pictures of that, and somebody had posted a drone shot.
Mm-hmm.
It literally looks like somebody took a bomb and dropped it in the middle of that intersection.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
There's Jesse with the...
There we go.
Yeah. Kyler Gamlin says, how about that Taylor Green performance? He honestly didn't do that bad.
Overall, I mean, he had the one really bad turnover, which, like I said earlier in the postgame, I didn't really put that on him. It's just a heck of a play by the Weeks kid for LSU. I honestly, outside of that, I liked what I saw. Like we talked about earlier, he was going through his progressions. 1, 2, 3, ball out. He had to get rid of it. And one of our biggest complaints has been that he didn't stand in the pocket. And just like Loki's saying here, he also didn't seem nearly as panicked in the pocket tonight. No, he stood his ground. He stepped up in the pocket a few times and found the open receiver. He wasn't locking in on Armstrong. I mean, I think you're seeing the progression in him that you want to see. I mean, yes, you're halfway through the season, but let's not forget, he's coming in, he's drinking from a fire hose trying to learn this offense. I mean, there's so many intricacies. Jesse and I have been all over Green. We've been complaining about him. Jesse comes in and says his pocket presence was much better tonight. I agree 100%. It was better, and you saw the result of it too by being able. You saw Tesla have catches. You saw Luke Haas. You saw
a couple of different guys.
He spread the ball around like what we've been begging him to do.
But again, we just couldn't get in the end zone.
Brad Staten, I feel like 6 wins is still reachable, but if we somehow get more than that, I would be way surprised. Look, I think 6 has become the new baseline. You've got to get 6 now.
So we keep harping on the Tennessee win, and even though we lost to number 8 tonight, that was a big momentum swing for the season because none of us had that record where we are tonight.
No, nobody had that.
D-Mad will tell you differently.
I mean, he was
Iowa State, 38.
There was one.
There he is.
Yep. Hey, you know what? If I'm in your shoes, I'm reminding us of that every chance I get to.
Every time we mention him on the show, that finger. Nah, put it down. See, I'm here now. I'll break that thing. No, look. One of the telling stats from this game. How many rushing yards do you think we had?
Maybe 50. Maybe.
Not even close.
Not even 50. Huh?
38.
Ooh. Yeah,
38. We were averaging 200 yards on the ground coming into this game. Who does this sound like? It sounds just like Tennessee. It sounds just like Oklahoma State, which, by the way, got beat by BYU Friday night.
Yeah, they have not had a Power 5 win since they beat us.
Passing yards were almost the exact same. 235 for LSU, 239 for Arkansas.
Yeah. Just shows how important the rushing game is and how important it is to not be one-dimensional.
158 yards on the ground for LSU.
Yep.
158 yards.
The difference in the rushing, the turnovers. I mean, there's just certain things you can point to. Okay, let's see what Loki's saying here. You know why the Kool-Aid was bitter? It got spiked with that rat poison Saban used to talk about. It wasn't just LSU punched us in the mouth. Really did it too. Yep.
Reality did it too. Yes.
Reality did it too.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, my old eyes are deceiving me.
Yeah, and he's the thing is he's absolutely
Yeah, he's spot on. I mean, well, and so you had it, and you had the talk linger longer than usual because of the off week. Normally that would end quicker than it did. I mean, but you had 10, 11, 12 days of that Tennessee talk.
Yeah,
after the upset.
Do you think that they were still hungover from that, or do you think that LSU was just that much better?
No, I think LSU was just better.
So we're going to take a break from the Arkansas talk for a minute, because right now there's 2 minutes to go in this Georgia-Texas game. It's 4th and 1. Georgia has the ball. You could pretty much say that Georgia's got this.
I mean, you would think so. With 2:18 left, Georgia's got the ball facing a 4th and 1. I mean, it's going to take a minor miracle for Texas to come back and win at this point. But I mean, we've seen crazy things happen before. But what this does is it just takes the conference and puts another team in that mix with one loss.
I mean, let me see if I can pull the standings up as it stands. That's funny, by the way.
Let's see. Georgia just got stopped on the 4th and 1. It wasn't even close. He actually lost
he
a
got
yard.
stuffed.
Yeah, he got stuffed. All right, another comment here. J.P. Gregory, this all falls on Sam again. They need to force him to retire. 5 years of this crap is enough. Okay, look, I see where JP's coming from. It's, you can make the argument that this is another, Amber Heard in the bed moment.
Funny.
in a big
what
game
exactly are you alluding to him?
Yeah, I mean, what time is it? It's after 10. It's 10:30. Okay, it's a shit the bed moment.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean,
I know the sponsor personally, so if he has a problem with it, I'll call him and tell him.
But I mean, that's what it is. It's we've seen over the course of Sam's time here, we've seen a lot more games in Fayetteville where the team has just completely crapped the bed rather than doing what they did against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I understand the frustration, and I've been one of Sam's biggest critics. But let's see how this season finishes up. If he gets, I can tell you this right now. If he gets to 6, he's not going anywhere unless he wants to.
D-Matt, Jesse's got a question for MC. Says Harris did have a brutal holding penalty at tackle, but I feel like swapping him and Blackstock was a good move. You guys talked about this last week a lot on the pre and post game show, or 2 weeks ago on the pre and post game show. What are your thoughts on that? I know he says y'all were very skeptical.
We were very skeptical of it, but it looks like tonight, for the most part, I thought it worked out. He did have a really bad. The holding penalty was very ill-timed. I mean, it's like one of the worst points you could have at it. But Blackstock, you didn't see him getting exposed tonight like you have in other games to this point. And so overall, I think the move to swap them, I agree with Jesse. I think overall it was a good move because, I mean, offensive linemen, everybody's going to have a holding call at some point.
And just to add to that, in the post-game presser, Pitt did say Kudus is probably going to be back the rest of the year.
See, I don't think that's a good move. I think they need to hold him out till let him play. And I think it was Jesse that said this on Thursday night. Because I want to make sure I give credit where whoever said it.
Right.
I think Jesse's right. They need to hold him out, let him play the last 4 games, and redshirt him.
Yeah, and the only problem you run into with that is if he is not fully on board with it, you run the risk of him hitting the portal at the end of the year. Because let's face it, that's what kids do now when they face adversity. Is if they don't like the way things are going, they hit the portal. But I think getting him back in the mix, will it make a difference? Well, it depends. How rusty is he going to be?
Well, he's been practicing. That's the thing.
He has been practicing, but as we know, there's a difference in practice and live rounds.
There is. JP was coming back and saying, he said, 6 is not enough. I'm sorry. He is the Mike Anderson of football.
That's a fair statement.
That is a fair statement. But JP, based on the last couple of years' trajectory, I mean, go back 3 years. You're 9-3 at the end of 2021. You are on top of. I say on top of the mountain.
Well, you're pretty damn close to the
You're
top
pretty
of the
close
mountain.
based on where we had come from, because
Yes,
we were all in
absolutely.
the dark ages.
Yes.
You're riding a wave, and then you come in, and I've said this many times. Then you come in and have a 7-6 season, and take a very, very, very mediocre Kansas team to 3 overtimes, blowing a 3 touchdown lead.
Yeah.
By the way,
I don't completely disagree with what JP's saying.
no, but
He's
if
got a very valid point.
if you go through 3-9, 4-8 last year,
Yeah, 4-8.
4-8 last year, and if you're 6-6 this year, you're on the right track.
I mean, that's you've
Given-
done the dip, and now you seem to be kind of coming on the way back up.
Because look, you can't win them all the time.
Well, and I mean, let's just face it. We're this year. If you had told me in August that this team was going to be, what are we sitting at? 4-3.
4-3.
4-3.
2-2 in SEC.
4-3. 2-2 in SEC on October 19th. I would have told you I'll take that all day, because I had predicted maybe one SEC win all year.
I mean, look at my record. My record was 3-9.
I
had
had 4-8. I picked 4-8 coming into the season because I didn't have any faith.
You didn't have any faith, but we also didn't know. And the closer the season got, you also looked at it as, okay, this team has the opportunity, has the chance to do 3-9,
Right.
or 9-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or anything in between.
You come out and you lay a 70 on Pine Bluff High School. Sorry, UAPB fans, I'm calling it like I see it.
Yeah, that was.
You have a
nothing
few
more than
minor
practice.
mistakes against Oklahoma State. You could have easily come into this game 6-0.
You could have been. Yeah. I mean, there's a case for that, because you had your chances at Oklahoma State. You had your chances against Texas A&M, and you just couldn't. Again, like tonight, when you had your chances, you couldn't capitalize. This one just got out of hand tonight.
Yeah. Our great sponsor from Meeks Design Company, Baxter Meeks. Which, by the way, Baxter, I'm still scared about my mystery shirt. I keep bugging MC to see if he'll give me some kind of a hint to it.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even have any details.
But he says, when you haven't been relevant in over a decade, 6-6 isn't bad. Arkansas could be a perennial 8-4 in the SEC. That's not bad. But we have to be able to string together some 8-4 seasons to get good recruits.
I would agree.
And I mean, look at Kentucky. Kentucky's a perennial. I mean, they're right in that 9-3, 8-4, the occasional 10-2.
Yeah.
They're what we need to be.
Yeah. And you also look at, if you go back and look at the first 3 or 4 years of Mark Stoops, there wasn't a lot of success there, but they've hung with him, and he's turned out some pretty decent seasons the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, I think he's going on 7, maybe 8 seasons there now. He's been there a while.
Yeah, because wasn't Joker Phillips the one before him?
I think so. I think he was.
I think he needs to call. Bob and get some. Get some pointers.
I may have to look that up.
But let's bring in D-Mad real quick. D-Mad's got something to add. D-Mad, what you got, man?
So I'm just scrolling over Twitter, kind of just going over reactions, and this person put it's actually my brother. He says the team does not know how to handle success. Never has under Pittman and never will.
I mean, that's a.
I can't argue with that.
I can't
either.
argue with that. I mean, what else can you say to that?
To close out my Mark Stoops point, he has been the coach at Kentucky since 2013. He is 76-69 overall, just above 500. I was trying to get the year-by-year breakdown. Let's see. Okay, first year Kentucky, 2-10.
Woo.
Followed that up with back-to-back 5-7s. Followed that up with back-to-back 7-6s. 2018, 10-3. 2019, 8-5. Shortened COVID year, 5-6. 2021, they went 10-3. And then 22 and 23, he's had 7-6 seasons, and they are currently 3-4 this year. So, you talk about riding a roller coaster. I mean, he's kind of been up and down a little bit.
We have
Georgia just picked something off.
Georgia is taking victory formation. Down goes number 1 Texas again. We got this pick right, and we even tried.
Yeah. The only reason we got it right is because we hate Texas, and we weren't gonna.
30-15, Texas goes down, and here's the thing, this right here, and we said this Thursday night. The SEC now is wide open.
Wide open. You don't know who's gonna.
Is wide open. Aaron Weatherford, which, by the way, Aaron is Dave's producer from the Dave Ellsworth show.
Oh, yeah.
Real cool dude. Which, by the way, Aaron, thank you guys for letting me come on Fridays. It's been a lot of fun. But he just has one thing to say. Yuck.
Yeah. I mean, that's... Yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
We're going to step away, and when we come back, we're going to go through some more of your comments, some more of your questions, and we're going to run down the SEC standings after we hear this from SeatGeek.
Hey, Hog Fanatics! We at Inside the Hog Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share that SeatGeek is a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not so good deal. As a special offer, Hog Fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link, and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
Yeah!
Welcome back to the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. Razorback Zach, Marcus MC Carlton in the flesh, I might add, coming to you from the NEA Hog Pen. And it's been a wild night. We've had the Harris Made Chef Services tailgate show, had our first Hogcast of the year.
Yeah.
And now we've got the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. And Heath Waldrop, sorry, that was my mistake. I was not mispronouncing it. That my brain doesn't work. He says, I still say that the biggest deficiency that this team has is a quarterback. If you have a good SEC caliber quarterback back there, this team would have entered today undefeated and could have challenged for this game too.
Based on the performances in the games we lost, you can't argue that. I mean, that's, if...
Please tell me the Guardians are winning this game.
I don't know. That's why I flipped it over to
Or
say...
not the Guardians.
I don't completely disagree with Heath's take there.
I agree with Aaron. He says the SEC is eating itself alive.
Yeah, you have a lot of years where they cannibalize themselves.
It is. Let me see if I can pull up the standings here as they sit right now, because I think we've still got one game. Or are we done for the night? That Georgia-Texas game was the last one.
I think that was it for the SEC. I don't think anybody's got. I mean, we're deep into conference play now. Nobody's going to be playing anybody out west or anything.
The SEC's done for the week, and here are your SEC standings. Let me see if I can get in here.
Hey, MC.
Yeah.
Brad Staten's wanting to know if you're playing the Sega right now.
I am not playing the Sega. I have my YouTube TV through my Xbox.
I wish y'all could see this.
So I'm trying to change the channel right now to find what games are going on. So no, I'm not preoccupied with a Sega.
Wait, I got you back. He's blowing off steam, y'all. He's blowing off steam. We'll post the score later.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like that Bama fan that went and played college football and beat Vandy like
400 to nothing.
400 to nothing after they lost.
Here's the SEC standings as they stand, and these are updated, by the way.
Yeah.
At the very top, 6-1, you have Texas A&M and LSU. A&M is 4-0, LSU's 3-0 in conference. They're both 6-1. That game next week, and I believe it's in College Station.
No, it's in
Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm. Saturday night in Death Valley.
That's going to determine the number one spot in the SEC.
Yep, for right now.
Okay, I have a feeling A&M is going to run away with it.
Boy, I don't know, man.
You're
talking Saturday night in Death Valley. That's a bit of a rivalry game, because if you remember when we lost our Black Friday game with LSU, it's because they started playing Texas A&M.
That's true too. And at third, you've got Texas at 2-0. Actually, they're 2-1 in conference now. And then you have Tennessee, Georgia, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, South Carolina, number 18, Ole Miss, all the way at the bottom, because they're 1-2 in conference.
Yeah, they're 1-2. What are we, 2-2?
2-2.
Look down at the very bottom. Who's got the goose eggs?
Auburn and Mississippi State.
Auburn and Mississippi State are both 0-4, which is a little bit misleading, because Auburn should have beaten Missouri today. I watched the ending, the fourth quarter of that game. They were up, I believe, at one point they were up 17-6, and got beat 21-17, I think. And Mississippi State, we've talked about them the last couple weeks. They've had a couple of really good games. Come up on the short end of the stick, but they're not getting blown out. They're playing tough with some of the toughest teams in the league.
JP says TG is too inconsistent, just like at Boise State. 10 times he could have ran for 10 plus, and he will not cut it.
Again, I don't completely argue, but I mean, unfortunately, right now he's the best we got.
You've been corrected.
On
that game is at College Station.
Oh, it is at College Station.
Bama goes to Death Valley in 3 weeks.
Okay, all right. So if it's at College Station, if it's Kyle Field,
you got to give the edge to A&M.
You probably got to give the edge to A&M.
As much as we don't want to, you've got to give the edge to A&M.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't like either one of them, so.
I mean, neither do I. I'd like them both to lose. But at least you got some good news tonight from up here in the NEA.
Yeah.
State won.
Yeah, they did. They
held off Southern Miss.
Went out to Hattiesburg and
I say held off. They took off and ran with it. Speaking of, I got my first view of Arkansas State this afternoon. My 15-year-old was in a band competition at A-State, and I'll tell you, Centennial Bank Stadium's not bad.
Yes, they like I told you, they've made several upgrades to it over the last decade or so, and it's it's not top, it's not SEC caliber, but it's
they're in the Sun Belt, so I mean it's
a nice stadium. It holds 30,000. You've got a pretty good atmosphere there when you can get people there. The problem they have is getting people to come out on a consistent basis. So
in the Sun Belt, they might.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Butch Jones up here.
Well,
but look at the list of coaches. And again, I know we're talking about LSU here, Arkansas LSU, but we're talking about all of college football here.
There's only so much you can say about the butt whooping we took tonight. So
apathy has not set in like it did last year, where we would come on to the post game show or we'd come on to the weekly show and go, well,
we lost again.
We crapped the bed again. I mean, it was to the point. I mean, it was almost to MC last year. It was almost to the point where we just sit up and just stare at each other on screen because you can't say anything.
Well, and the same things kept happening over and over and over. And there's only so many ways that you can describe what happened last year. I want to see what this team does next week in Starkville. You've got an early start, which generally favors the road team. You're looking at, I believe, 11:45 kickoff.
Yeah, 11:45. I believe that one is on
SEC Network. Yeah, I think it's SEC Network.
Let me confirm that.
So
while we're at it, let's look ahead, because you have an opportunity. You still have a very good opportunity to turn some heads if you just clean up your mistakes.
I think the goal for this year has to be getting to 6, getting to a bowl game. That I know nobody wants to hear that right now.
So you have Mississippi State next week, and that is on the SEC Network.
Okay.
That follows SEC Nation. So you'll have Marty McGee, SEC Nation, SEC Now, and then you'll have our game at 11:45. Which I hate these. I hate the 11:45. I hate these off games where they're like 3:15. No, it's
2:27.
Yeah. But you have Mississippi State. You have Ole Miss, and then you have a bye week. You have another bye week.
Before Texas comes.
And then you have Texas.
Yeah.
Then you have Louisiana Tech, and then you have Missouri.
Yeah.
It is very, very, very possible
You're setting
to go 3-2.
Yeah. On those, yeah.
You can go 3-2.
Yeah. You've got to get...
Now, for anybody that plays Texas now, they need to dissect down to the molecule this Georgia-Texas game that just happened.
Well, and you also got to figure out, okay, do we have the dudes that can make the plays the Georgia guys make? Because Georgia's still full of dudes.
Yeah, and there's and I don't know. And again, I don't understand what happened, but Travis Williams was not calling. I mean, his play calling, it little sus this week. Wasn't bad play calling.
I think it goes back to you faced a better offense this week than you did 2 weeks ago. Tennessee came into that game with all the hype, and now they went and upset Bama this week. But they had an off night. You took advantage of it. But I think if Tennessee and LSU, I don't know if they play this year, but if they played, I think LSU handles them pretty well. I think where LSU is strong is one of Tennessee's weak points. So And I don't even know if they play or not.
Loki, I am still waiting to hear back from her as to how she did. The awards happened about an hour and a half ago. She is making her way back home to Bigelow High School as we speak. So I will let everybody know Thursday how she did at the competition. Baxter says, I think we have a legitimate chance to get 7 wins.
I think seven's within reach for regular season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you could look at, okay, Mississippi State, and then who's after that?
Ole Miss.
Is Ole Miss on the second? Okay. And
Yeah,
then-
so you're talking about our games?
Yes.
Yeah, you have Mississippi State, you have Ole Miss, you have the bye week, and then you have Texas, La Tech, and Missouri.
Okay. Yankees just clinched going to the World Series.
Man.
5-2 in 10 innings.
I
over
was
Cleveland.
really hoping that Cleveland could pull it off.
So, just to kind of bring this back, LSU's defense has been struggling this year, but it seemed like last week they figured it out. And
Against
if
Ole
you
Miss,
remember,
Yeah.
if you remember, they got Missouri's defensive coordinator from last year, and Missouri had, I think it was a top at least 25 defense, and they're starting to round that corner looking like that too.
Yeah.
Doesn't it make you sick, though, knowing that Missouri had that good of a defense?
Missouri they had a better year last year. Would they win 10, 11
Yeah,
games,
they
something
won
like
10.
that? So, I mean, they are not the same team.
No. When you go down, when you get thumped by Texas A&M 41-10, being a top 10 school.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Why could that not have happened?
But
to
I
us?
mean, if you can, okay, so you got the 2 Mississippi schools coming up. Just go get the W. I don't care if it's 51-48 or if it's 10-7. You got to come out of Starkville with a W next week. You have to.
there is no excuse to drop that game.
You have to go get that one. You have to show that you can bounce back after a bad loss like tonight, which is, to some of the points that have been made tonight, this is where Pittman teams have struggled historically in the past.
Yes.
After a bad loss, 1 loss turns into 2, 2 turns into 3. We've seen that before. You have to avoid that at all costs.
There's also been a disturbing trend.
Yeah,
So
very disturbing. Yes.
Well, this is another disturbing trend. Arkansas, I've been saying this past couple of weeks, I don't trust them to score more than 20 points. If you look back all the way to Oklahoma State, UAB was the last time we scored more than 20 points in a game.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
No, and that, again, who does that fall on? Is it the talent on the field, or is it Bobby Petrino calling the offense? I'm going to ask the question. It may be a dumb question, but it's one that everybody's going to ask. Who does that fall on? Is it the level of talent? Is it the inexperience at the SEC level of Taylor Green and some of the players on offense, or is it Bobby Petrino's play calling?
I mean,
or is it a combination of all three?
So,
because of the players that we have.
Okay, so here's my take on that. My take is that what we've seen to this point on the play calling, let's go prior to tonight. Okay, we have seen through, whether it's through the breakdown that DJ Williams does or instant replays from alternate camera angles, how many times have we seen wide receivers running wide open down the field?
Several.
Taylor doesn't see them.
Several.
Now we didn't see. I don't know that we had those type of situations tonight because it felt like his pocket presence was better. He spread the ball around to receivers, but you can't go back to what we had before, where he was locking in on Armstrong or whoever.
Right.
Broden. He had a tendency to kind of lock in on Broden a little bit too.
And that's okay though, because he's been consistently locking in on Armstrong, but he has to stop locking in on receivers because these D-backs for these SEC schools watch his eyes.
Yeah, J.P. Gregory's he's fired up tonight, but he has good points. I can't really argue with him. He says it's talent. That's what happens when you go get a QB that was at Boise State and got benched there. He was there for a reason and not at a bigger school.
Okay, but JP, wasn't this the quarterback? Was this not the quarterback that Bobby Petrino personally went and got?
to my knowledge, that's
If I'm incorrect, somebody say something. But
it seems like I remember hearing that
you got
when Bobby came on, that was they
That's
went
his
to the
guy.
portal looking for a quarterback after KJ left, and
who now is a third string quarterback at UCF.
yeah,
Bobby wanted him out of high school when he was at Missouri State, but he couldn't
Yeah.
get a 3-star recruit to come to Missouri State, so he
Yeah.
went to Boise.
Ooh, okay, so not a good look for Bobby.
so I mean,
I'll be the one to say it. It's not a good look for Bobby.
yeah,
'Cause-
and and JP comes back and he says because of what he thought he could fix, and it's not happening. I mean, I still go back to tonight. I felt like he was better than he has been.
Yeah, tonight he was, but look at the level of defense he was playing.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Now everybody's going to argue he played a tougher defense against Tennessee. You couldn't tell that because Tennessee was just off their game. All right.
Yeah.
Lightning struck and we were able to beat Tennessee.
We took advantage.
Is
of
it a fluke win now that we've lost to LSU?
Maybe, maybe not. I mean,
I don't want to
Also-
say yes, but I don't
Yeah.
want to say no either.
but sometimes you have to have those to turn a season around. You know, we were all pretty frustrated prior to that Tennessee game. We were all very frustrated. I am not as frustrated after the loss tonight as I was prior to the Tennessee win because I felt like we were underachieving. I mean, tonight
We just
I
looked
honestly
asleep.
feel like tonight we just got our butt kicked by a better team.
Yeah, we just looked asleep.
I mean, you can point out to a few key plays that were momentum killers, but I really feel like, my initial thoughts after the game, they were just better. They made the plays that they had to have.
Right.
All the third down conversions. I mean, they were 80% on third down conversions.
That is unheard
you
of.
give
And
that
we
up,
went-
you're not going to beat anybody.
We were even looking at Nussmeier's numbers, and he was like 22
22 of 33.
for like 230 for like 223, 220, 233 yards.
Right at 10 yards a pass.
Right at 10, yeah, right at 10 yards. And if you remember, those 10 yards were the third down conversions.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
Will
that's
Hicks.
what would happen.
Will Hicks says Dominion fumble changed the game. There was a
hurt.
couple of them.
Yeah.
There was a couple of them that changed the game. That was a major part of it. But the two missed field goals. Was it a missed field goal or two missed field goals? I think it was two, wasn't it?
He missed 42. He hit from 51.
Yeah,
Did
explain that
Did
to
he
me.
try another one?
I don't think he did.
I think he was 1 for 2 on the night.
Explain that one to me. How the hell do you miss a 42-yarder and then nail a 51-yarder like it was nothing?
Freaking kickers. That's all
Your
you can say
own-
there. Kickers.
Your one job in practice is to just kick field goals. And you're going to tell me you can't hit them.
Is it better to miss your first one and hit your second one, or
Why can't you hit them both?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's the ultimate question.
Why can't you hit them both?
just hit them both?
That's my question.
But even Cam Little would occasionally miss one.
They're dogging you about your controller, by the way.
I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm trying to find ball games.
So another thing we can talk about, the offensive line looked so much better today than they have in the past. I think the switching of the Blackstock and Harris was a big thing. I also think Talon did a really good job of sliding the line to the blitz and not letting the pressure get to him. He was making a lot of good decisions at the line of scrimmage.
I didn't think he had that bad of a performance tonight.
Nico Davalier, or Davier, or however you want to pronounce it. When he was at Maumelle High School, it was Davalier.
Mhm.
All right. When he had those first couple of penalties, that hurt us. He should be a lot better than that.
Hey, D-Man, throw up Will Hicks' comment. I want to see what Zach has to say about this, about the bye week. Will Hicks comes in and says, I seriously think that the bye week hurt us.
Well, here's the thing. I said this on Thursday's show. We have, the last 4 years, we've been undefeated coming out of the bye week. Okay? We have, we looked good coming out of the bye week. I don't know what it was about this week. I don't know what it was. I won't necessarily say that it hurt us, but it certainly didn't help us, it looks like.
Well, I mean,
Because here's the thing. This game would have been a whole lot worse if you played Tennessee and LSU back-to-back. and did not have that week break.
Well, and also if you don't have that week break, Taylor Green probably doesn't play.
No. That's why I'm saying this game would be a whole lot worse because, number one, and I'm not saying Malachi Singleton couldn't get the job done, all right? But they would eat his lunch. If they shut us down like this with Taylor Green, they completely shut us down.
That would have it could have been real ugly. If
you're
Taylor
not
didn't play.
you're not as healthy if this game was back to back.
Yeah. Not only him, but there were a couple other guys that were fighting some nagging injuries. Luke Haas, for instance. Haas, we finally saw several catches from him.
He looked healthier.
He looked healthier. He still doesn't look like the Luke Haas of last year, but I think
didn't he have the fumble at the end there? Or was that?
That was Satania.
That was Satania. Okay.
Yeah, that was Satania. That had the fumble in the early fourth quarter, maybe. But it was another one of them.
I swear to God, I think a body's fixing to jump out of this refrigerator.
That
scares
that
the crap out of me every
Satania
time.
It was just one of the moments where you're just like, yeah. All right, let's see what Jesse says here. I think the coaching staff counted their chickens before they hatched, thinking Cam Little would still be here. Excellent kicker committed for next year, but that left us in a bad spot this year. Well, okay, hang on.
Didn't he say? Didn't Cam Little say he was coming back, and then all of a sudden, he suddenly admits he's going, or suddenly says he's going to the draft?
Maybe, but we've got. I don't know what's happened, but if you go and you look at the roster, there is a kicker on the roster that's not the one that's out.
It's not Cal.
No, but we've got a
I don't even know how to say his name.
We've got a kicker on the roster who has not seen the field yet. That if you read his bio, it's talking about he was a 5-star kicker in high school.
I have a thing for that. I'm gonna tell you in a minute.
Right.
D-Mad, put up Aaron's comment. Aaron Hagens. She says, I think we felt a little defeated when we have refs that aren't making calls like they're supposed to. And I also agree with Will. The bye week hurt us as well. Again, it did not hurt us, but it didn't help us either, like I had said a few minutes ago. But I completely agree with her comment when she says that it takes a little bit of wind out of your sail when you know that it needs to be a certain call, but the refs aren't making it. But they're making it for LSU.
Well,
Mark Curls.
I think she's got a point there because after the targeting call was overturned and the no PI with Jordan Anthony, that's the two calls that stick out of my head the most.
Yeah, and
you could see body language change in the players. You could see it change. I'm trying to find this kid that's
JP, and D-Matt, I apologize, I'm jumping around here. JP says the kicker situation goes back to getting players from lesser schools they were at. The schools they were where for a reason. JP, try breathe, dude, and try that comment again because that sounded like something I would say. I couldn't even keep up with you. So take another shot at that comment if you don't mind.
Are you looking for that the kicker that was a 5-star kicker?
Yes.
Charlie Von Der Meeden.
Okay, what
Here, I'll share the screen.
46. Okay, Charlie Von Der Meeden. Thank you. So, okay, he's a freshman. He apparently handles kickoffs. Coming out of high school, he kicked off 3 times for 192 yards while tallying a pair of touchbacks against Pine Bluff in the opener. That's basically the only stats he has. He's a freshman from Tomball, Texas, rated a 5-star kicker and number 12 kicker in the nation. So my question, thank you for putting that on the screen. My question is, WTF? Why have we not seen this guy? Is he struggling that much in practice? That Shipley is the better option than him.
Okay, so here's what I've learned when it comes to the star system. Mm-hmm. You've got a player coming out of Texas who's a 5-star.
Yeah.
They commit to Arkansas, they're immediately a 3-star.
Normally, I've seen that happen. Yeah.
Okay.
You could have one drop.
I don't believe, and the star system itself is so antiquated. It's antique. Yeah. It's outdated. Okay. I don't believe, and again, the kid might be able to kick, but there's, I'm not going to sit here and say Scott Fountain doesn't know what he's doing because we see the kicking situation. I mean, hell, at this point, take Savage and put her in a damn kicking uniform. Let her kick the damn ball. I mean she's been pushing for a kicking job. Let this kid do it. See what he's got.
Obviously, they're not seeing something they want to see out of him in practice, or he would get a shot. But I don't know. To me, it's like, okay, if this kid is as highly as right, because he's number 12 kicker in the country. I mean, and we saw somebody had a comment earlier about kickers being head cases. Spot on.
Yeah.
But why not? You know, if Shipley comes out, let's say Shipley comes out next week and goes 0 for 2, do you give, you know, Vander Merden Bersha, you know, Swedish chef dude? Do you give him a shot? You know,
we have that on tape. We're adding that to the intro. We're finding, yeah, right. But no, here's the thing: you have to consistency. You can't keep. And I will say this: did that just say wiffle ball all-star game at midnight? Go up one.
Yes,
it does. It's
yeah.
Oh, all right.
It's on the Ocho.
All right. Hey, more power to you. Sorry, ADHD moment. I know, but it jump. I mean, you have to have consistency. It's like, okay, Taylor Green's not the answer, so you're gonna put in a true freshman who's not as mobile, who doesn't run as. I mean, I say he's not as mobile. He scrambles, yes. Okay, he scrambles.
Right.
But when he's in the pocket, he's like a statue. Okay. And unfortunately, you can't do that in the SEC.
Yeah. All right. So as we're getting ready to wrap this up, because Zach's got a heck of a drive to get home tonight from the NEA Hog Pen. Your final thought on the LSU game? And
it sucked.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It sucked.
All right.
But you've got 24 hours.
Yeah.
To kind of lick your wounds.
Yep.
All right. You take Sunday off. You get cleaned up. You rest. You hit the film room Monday morning, or you hit the practice field Monday morning, and you hit it hard. I mean, you hit it like you are playing for the national freaking title. All right. And you go into Starkville. You ramrod them. You don't let up. Easy now. Easy now. Easy now.
ITHP after dark.
Yeah, easy now. I'm trying to keep it family friendly so we don't
We're not
piss
talking
anybody
about
off.
basketball, Zach.
But I could have gone with, look, I could have said something else. Then y'all are really.
Got
I
him.
get what you're saying. You got to go down
Oh, you broke me.
You got to go establish.
You
dominance.
have you do you.
You put the ball gag in their mouth and you establish on.
Damn! Wow. Okay.
Sausage.
Yeah, you got.
I don't
Set
trust.
the tone. How about that? How about we say set the tone?
Not after you saying that. Hell no.
Bring out the gimp.
Now
Zach,
we know
are
what
you sure
do
you're
at
going
the-
back to Little Rock
at the
tonight?
NBA Hog Pen. That's how
You
they
sure
do
you're
things
driving
up
back
here.
to Little Rock tonight, Zach? I think you might be staying with MC.
I'm leaving Northeast Arkansas as fast as I hell can. Holy, get me out of here!
Things get wild up here after dark, man.
I am.
Loki
I'm not
says
saying
all,
a word.
Loki
No,
says
but-
all of this is going in the gag reel, no pun
No
intended.
pun intended. Yeah.
Jesse's gonna be mad he missed this.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, you go into Starkville and you don't let up.
Right.
You,
No, I agree.
You can't. Okay? You can't let them get back in it. You cannot take your foot off the gas. You go in and you play like a pissed off bunch.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you've got Ole Miss back home the next week. And that game is just as pivotal as Tennessee, as LSU.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because they're still ranked. They're not ranked as high as those two, but they're still ranked.
Well, not only that, but
And I think they were on a bye week this week too.
yes, they were. If you go down to Starkville next week, you take care of business, you come back. In addition to Ole Miss being ranked and coming into Fayetteville, you've got bowl eligibility on the line.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at 6 wins right there.
Yeah.
If you can beat if you take care of business in Starkville, then you come back home, bowl eligibility's right there. You got to reach out.
And again, I know we're wrapping up, but I want to throw this out here.
Yeah.
And I'm about to kick off the hornet's nest. I know it. Let's say you win the next 2.
Mm-hmm.
You're bowl eligible.
Yep.
Okay. Say you beat your only other wins Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
Okay.
So that puts you at 7.
It puts you at 7.
I can't complain. If you're at 7,
I'm not saying intentionally drop
Right.
the other ones, but again, you get bowl eligibility. All you got to do is beat Louisiana Tech and Missouri, and you're an 8-4 team right there.
yeah. I mean,
I'd be okay dropping Texas. I don't want to.
Chances are that one's probably an L.
We're gonna cut that.
No, but again, my point is, if you do anything more than 6-6,
That's icing on the cake.
that's icing on the
Yeah.
cake.
Especially when you had, the two of us here, we had a combine. If you combined our preseason predictions, they were going to win 7.
Yeah,
Because I had 4, you had 3.
I had 3. Okay, so if you go 8-4 and you drop who you got left? You got.
If you go 8 to win 8, your only loss that
Would
you're
be
going to have
Texas,
left
wouldn't it?
would be Texas. Yeah.
So if you lose to Texas and win the rest of them, I'd still say that's a success.
I would not have a problem with
4-1 in your last 5 games.
Yeah.
Granted, nobody wants to lose to Texas. If you're an Arkansas fan, the last thing you want to do is lose to Texas, and they're showing that again.
Yeah. There's the play by weeks that was the.
And that again, that wasn't on anything. That was a perfect. That was
play.
Weeks being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, he made a great play.
But
LSU had to go 2
again,
yards to score.
you have
so.
if you go 4-1 in these last 5 games, that's okay because you're at 8-4 for the season.
Yeah,
you're right back in the mix of the SEC.
Look, if you're setting at 8-4 after the Missouri game, Kool-Aid's going to taste pretty daggum good. And
I don't want to drink no more Kool-Aid.
And I'm gonna have to put some crow out on my smoker, because I'm gonna have a heck of a lot.
Do
of
a
it to
little
eat
bit, and if
they go
Aaron
8-4.
and if Aaron is still watching, he'll get this reference. Do a little bit better. Dave gave me ice cold. It was still frozen. Like it was just, and he only gave me salt and pepper.
Yeah,
to put on.
I will at least put it on the smoker and season it up. But even at 7 wins, I'm still gonna have a lot of crow to eat.
What I'm saying is, if you hit bowl eligibility,
Yeah.
and you're not going into Louisiana Tech, you're not going into Missouri, fighting for a bowl game, fighting for bowl eligibility, you can breathe a little bit easier. Don't let up, but you can
Right.
breathe a little bit easier, knowing, hey, we've made a bowl game.
Yeah.
It's a successful season. Now you might get, the Sun Bowl, Cheez-It, Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
I don't care if you go into Birmingham right now. A bowl is a bowl right now.
You might get Shreveport, you might get Mobile, hell, you might even get Liberty. And if you get Liberty, I don't count it out. I might go. I might be there.
I will be there if they're in the Liberty Bowl. Yeah, I will
we
be
going.
there. I will
Boy,
be
that
there.
would be fun, wouldn't it? Doing a show from the Liberty Bowl, that'd be trippy.
Pack your Kevlar. That's all I gotta say.
We'll call Bum.
yeah. No,
I was about to say, make sure to pack your bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Right? Ain't
Yeah.
enough Kevlar. But in wrapping, like I said, and I got off in the weeds. But final thought would be, yeah, you got punched in the mouth tonight, but it ain't the end of the world.
Well, and how do you respond? How do you respond? Do
You want me to
do
be?
you pick it up and go back and pull your bootstraps up like a grown ass man and go take care of business in Starkville, or do you bring back the ghosts of last year where 1 loss turns into 2?
No, honestly, if I'm this team right now, I'd sulk on it for 24 hours, and
Flush
then
it.
Monday morning, I'm playing like I'm pissed.
Flush it. You gotta flush it.
And you go into Starkville playing pissed off, angry with something to prove.
'Cause
That you're not going to. I'm going to say this because it's ITHP After Dark. You don't go into Starkville and bend over and take it up the freaking tailpipe.
No, you have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, and I mean, you go in there and you kick their ass.
You have to. If this team has one more blowout win in the arsenal, I feel like it needs to be next Saturday to get their confidence back, to get set back on that.
But
track.
the argument can be made. Why next Saturday? Oh, Mississippi State's only 1-5. They're 0 in conference.
But you can see if you've watched them.
As D-Mad said against UAPB when he imitated you and I, you're supposed to beat a team that bad.
Yeah, but there is a big difference between Mississippi State and UAPB.
There is,
and they are showing signs of getting better, like we've talked about. They're showing signs.
If that game,
they're going to get somebody.
If we win that game by 14 points or less, I'm a little worried.
It's a win.
It's a win, but again, I'm a little worried.
I think you got to be careful about even having that thought, because I think Mississippi State's getting a little bit better than people think. They played Texas, they played Georgia, and they played Texas A&M today. They've only lost. I think they've scored about 20 points in each of those 3 games.
Well, Georgia and A&M were both 10 points.
Yes,
Difference.
If you go in there just lackadaisical
Texas,
like you were today,
they held Texas close for at least a half.
I think so.
If you go in there lackadaisical today, like you did today, you're gonna get your ass whooped.
Yeah. So, what are your final thoughts, MC?
Take your butt kicking, like you said. Take your 24 hours, flush it, come back to work Monday, and start getting ready for Starkville, because they're not going to feel sorry for you, because
they're not.
They're
going to exploit your weakness.
They're in as desperate need of a win as Arkansas is now, if not maybe a little more. And like D-Mad pointed out, you're seeing this team continue to get better and better every week. And my prediction on Mississippi State is they're going to get somebody they're not supposed to get before the end of the season, and we don't want it to be us.
I'm going to hear a lot of crap Thursday night from Jesse.
Well,
I am.
All right. It was probably happening one way or the other.
All right. Jesse's a good dude. Hey, by the way, folks, I want to give you guys a heads up. Friday night, 8 p.m., it's our first basketball hogcast. That's right. My boy here is taking point. It's going to be Kansas, Arkansas, Bud Walton Arena, and he is going to be taking the lead spot in our hogcast.
You can call it an exhibition game if you want.
Ain't no way.
This is going to have a late February, early March feel to it.
Now, I want to warn you guys, even if we lose that game, it's not the end of the world. All right? And I'm going to let MC explain why Thursday night. But be watching for that. Friday night, 8 p.m. is our second hogcast of the season. We are not going to be in person on this one.
No.
But it's going to be the same setup, same way we did it before. Only on YouTube. So be watching for that. And again, Friday morning, I will be on the Dave Ellswick show. And then, of course, we've got our usual Thursday night, 7 p.m. We'll be recapping this and looking forward to the rest of the season. And I believe there'll be another MC School of Hog Hoops that night.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't be that close to the
so once again,
Kansas game and not have it.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days of coverage of Inside the Hog Pen. So you want to stay with it. If you're watching this from anywhere other than our Facebook page or our YouTube page, go over there, like, share, follow, subscribe, do what you got to do to make sure you stay up to date for all things happening here at Inside the Hog Pen. Go like and follow our podcast channel. We've got a lot of stuff happening there. And we want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors: Meeks Design Company, Cam Productions, Allen Kerr Advisors, Harris Made Chef Services, SeatGeek, and of course, all of this could not be possible because we are presented by Rock City Wraps. Final thoughts before we get out of here?
Man, I enjoyed the night. This was fun. We will do this again at some point. I don't know when, I don't know where, but we will do it again.
I don't know if you were watching the team chat when we were going through all the food and everything. they're all going to try to converge on Jonesboro the next time we do one of these.
Hey, like I said, the more people that come, the more food I'll make, and I'll expand the menu a little bit if I know I got more.
Oh God, I'm on our 8 for a week, but hey,
so.
I'm going home with leftovers. So by the time Thursday gets here, I may end up looking like Fat Albert or the Nutty Professor. But
I have figured out real quick that I'm gonna have to do something where I change the angle of the camera because I'm sitting over here looking like I'm about 6 months pregnant right now. Just the way that the camera's hitting me, so I keep trying to change my position and keep my arms right here crossed, but I can't. When I'm sitting here like this, I can't suck it in. I have to kind of just make the best of it. But
Well, hey man, I appreciate you having me out. It's been fun. Davis and Aaron have been fantastic. You guys have been fantastic hosts for putting up with me. But that's going to do it for the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. Next week, it all goes down again. Thursday night, 7 p.m. is when we start. Friday, we've got a full day. Saturday, we've got a full day. You're not going to want to miss it. For Marcus MC Carlton, I'm Razorback Zach. Thank you all for joining the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. If you're driving, be safe, and we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
Hey, Hog Fanatics. We at Inside the Hog Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share that SeatGeek is a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not so good deal. As a special offer, Hog Fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
Yeah!